So what am I eating on this episode? It's Malaysian food. I've had a craving for it for a few weeks now, but it's not an easy cuisine to find. However, I managed to get some at this chain restaurant called Hawker's Asian Street Food. They specialize in the food of Southeast Asia and feature a few Malaysian items. I'm basically ordering everything on the menu that's Malaysian. Come along with me. It's another food adventure on today's episode. Well, I got my food. I'm going to start, but I was just thinking about Hawker's street food, this chain. It's not a mom and pop operation. I think it's a regional chain, not a national chain here in the United States. They have, I think, 2 locations, one in Maryland and one in Virginia, maybe, in the DC area, a few locations here. And I think the bulk of their locations are in the South, in the southern part of the United States. Anyway, I want some Malaysian food, and Hawker's was a good option because Malaysian food is not an easy cuisine to indulge in the DC area. In fact, in the United States, it's one of the lesser representative foods, Asian foods, I'm saying, in the U.S. It's not as easy to find as Chinese food or Thai food or even Filipino food for that matter. And let me start with the roti canai. Oh, that's good. The roti itself is nice and toasty and soft, but there's a flakiness about it too. Oh, that's good. But of course, you're supposed to dip it in the accompanying curry sauce. Let me do that. Wow. That's a very rich, flavorful curry. It's a yellowish brown curry with some orangey oil. Has a depth of flavor. Kind of medium thick. And there's a little bit of heat. I mean, you notice the heat. Wow. Slightly crusty, slightly flaky. Well, actually more than slightly. This is just straight up flaky roti with this really delicious curry. All right, I'm going to move on to the char kway teow, one of the Hawker staples in Malaysia. I'm just looking at it. It has the wide rice noodles and some eggs. There's some lap churng, the Chinese sausage. There's some shrimp and bean sprouts and scallions. I don't know what else. I think that might be it. Is there some chicken? Oh, there's some chicken in here too. But you know, it'd be hard to get a really authentic kind of Malaysian, you know, Kuala Lumpur or Penang style char kway teow. I think that would be asking too much. I think the Malaysian version would have, you know, some blood cockles in there, a kind of a small mollusk, if you're not familiar with cockles, and fried pork lard, maybe slices of pork belly. There even are versions of char kway teow that have, you know, the egg noodles in it, in addition to the wide rice noodles. So you have the mee, the egg noodles, the yellow egg noodles, also stir fried into that assemblage. But that might be asking too much. Let me just try this. It looks really good though. There aren't a lot of places to get char kway teow, and I don't have it very often. This is very infrequent. Okay, I didn't get any of the meat or any of the associated ingredients. I just ate some of the noodles, and I do taste that stir-fried soy flavor on top of the noodles. The noodles themselves are al dente, maybe just a tad firmer than they need to be, maybe? I would say the texture is good, but I think it needs to be stir-fried just a tad more, maybe, and, you know, allowed to get softer just a tad more. It's not by a lot, it's just a small amount, but I do notice it's a little bit more firm than it needs to be. Let me just try some of the other ingredients. Ooh, here's some noodles and chicken. Here's some chicken. Yeah, you know, pieces of white meat chicken. I think it's from the breast. Oh, here is the Chinese sausage, the lap churn. Oh yeah, that's really good. Has that kind of slight oiliness, savoriness, and that sweetness that balances it out. That's classic lap churn flavor. Okay, here's one of the shrimp. Yeah. I would say that's a shrimp that's slightly bigger than you would find in most fried rice preparations. So that's a pretty good sized shrimp. Ooh, there's a lot of eggs in here. Here's a piece of egg, well, actually a bunch of egg with some noodles. Oh yeah. There isn't a whole lot of flavor coming off the eggs, but it does add a little bit of texture and variety. I think some people might say that this is a kind of a one-dimensional char kway teow, because if I'm not mistaken, you know, the quote-unquote authentic char kway teow in Malaysia would be stir-fried with pork lard. So you have that flavor kind of layered in with the soy sauce, and so you have a more complex char kway teow, more complex flavor profile. I don't think there's pork lard in here. I think it's just stir-fried with oil and your typical soy sauce, or maybe some sort of sweet soy sauce. There's a degree of sweetness. It's not overwhelming by any means, but there is a tad bit of sweetness also. But as someone hankering for some Malaysian food and not having a whole lot of options, this char kway teow is hitting the spot for me. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next noodle dish, and this is the Hokkien mee. I think this is the Kuala Lumpur version, or the Kuala Lumpur style, rather than the Singaporean version, because I'm looking at it, it's very dark. It has a kind of brownish kind of complexion about it, and that is the hallmark of the Kuala Lumpur Hokkien mee. And I'm just looking at it. It has shrimp. Oh, looks like there's some char siu in here, some Chinese style roast pork, some chicken, and I think some cabbage is in here as well. I don't know what else, but a lot of a lot of thinnish looking egg noodles, kind of like lo mein kind of looking noodles. The kind of noodles you would find at a Chinese takeout place. Ooh, let me just start with the noodles. This is a lot of noodles. Whoa. Mmm. Wow. Ooh. Mmm. Wow. I think this is the first time. I'm pretty sure this is the first time having Kuala Lumpur Hokkien mee. I don't think I've ever had it before. You know, I've read about it, I've heard about it, I know about it, but I don't think I've ever had it because, again, where would I get it around the DC area? And it's supposed to be really sweet, or, you know, distinctively sweet, and it does have a sweetness about it and a savoriness too. You know, it really strikes me as a kind of lo mein, except that it's lathered in this thick soy sauce all over the noodles. I mean, this is a very saucy dish. This is a noodle dish that's stir-fried with broth in Malaysia, so it is very kind of saucy. They've nailed that. This is certainly saucy. I mean, this is a very saucy concoction. You wouldn't have a Chinese-style lo mein that is as saucy and thick as this. Ooh, let me try one of these shrimp. Oh, yeah. Oh. I'm digging through it, trying to... Ooh, yeah, here's some of the char siu, the roast pork. Yeah. That's good roast pork. It's soft. There's a sweetness about it that's distinct from the sweetness of the sauce. All right, so what are my impressions of this dish? I like it. You know, I usually don't eat noodles, stir-fried noodles, this saucy. I mean, again, this is a very saucy kind of stir-fry, but it is a nice change of pace to your average, you know, lo mein. I mean, that's what I would eat normally, you know, if I went and got these sorts of noodles. And it's very saucy again, but it's really good. The sauce, you might think the sauce is overpowering and, you know, maybe too much of a good thing, and maybe overly sweet. It definitely is sweet, but I wouldn't say it's overly sweet, and it's really good. I wouldn't call this an authentic Kuala Lumpur style Hokkien mee. Again, I've never had it before, but, you know, from what I know about it, it's supposedly, you know, stir-fried with pork lard. Even it has supposedly pork liver, pork intestines in it, you know, those really authentic versions, and, you know, crispy fried pieces of pork lard itself. And so, again, blood cockles as well. It doesn't have all that. And that would be asking too much, probably. Asking a lot of hawkers street food to be concocting something like that. But this version with chicken, shrimp, again, I don't think shrimp is usually in a Kuala Lumpur style Hokkien mee, but, you know, this version with chicken, char siu, and shrimp is doing a good job of it. It really is. It's really doing a good job, and I really like it. I ended up going to the Hawkers location, the Hawkers street food location in Bethesda, Maryland, too. As I mentioned, they have two locations, one in Boston, in Arlington, Virginia, and in Bethesda, Maryland. And as I said, I'm really hankering and really craving Malaysian food, and with few Malaysian options, and being near Bethesda as I was, coming up the Beltway in the DMV, I stopped in at Bethesda and I got their curry laksa ramen, and I scoured their menu and tried to identify all of the Malaysian options. Hawkers specializes in Southeast Asian fare, all the countries that have a hawker tradition. Singapore, Malaysia mainly. I think they throw in some Chinese food and Korean options as well. But this is the curry laksa ramen. It doesn't have the mee or the bihun, you know, the yellow kind of slightly thick egg noodles or the thin rice noodles that you might find in Malaysia, you know, in the Kuala Lumpur area. This has, you know, ramen noodles. So this is kind of a fusion, kind of Malaysian, Japanese item then, I think. The curry broth is separate. I'll have to pour the curry broth onto the contents to start the meal off. You might have seen my previous Malaysian episode. Actually, two Malaysian episodes ago, I had the curry laksa from Banana Leaves Cafe in Rockville, and this is my second time having curry laksa. This ramen looks kind of like the yellow egg noodles that is commonly served in curry laksa, except that it looks thinner. Let me just try the noodles to begin. Ooh, ooh, whoa. Mmm. Mmm. Whoa. Mmm. 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 Let me get some of that broth. Oh. Oh. It has a nice curry flavor. There's a rich curry flavor with a hint of spiciness. The ramen noodles, I would say, is a tad soft. It's a tad past al dente, so it's a little softer than they probably should be. Mm. Just a little bit past, but if they were any more, I think they would be overcooked. You could probably still make that claim, but it's just barely at that threshold where you would say maybe it's a little bit too soft. Okay, let me try the tofu. It looks like cubed fried tofu, firm tofu at that. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, these are actual fried firm tofu rather than the tofu puffs, which are more airy and kind of spongy, and they have a tendency to really soak up the broth like a sponge. These are firm pieces of tofu that have been cubed. Mmm. Mmm. Ooh. I can see that the yolk on the egg is not completely solidified. It does seem a little bit soft still and not completely set, so it does have the look of a ramen egg. But ooh, here it is. Let me take a bite of it. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good egg. It has a creamy yolk that's not completely set, and so it has a nice mouthfeel to it. There is shrimp in here. Let me not forget about that. Oh, let me get a shrimp and see how that is. Oh. 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 It's literally one shrimp that's been sliced in half. It's nice and meaty and bouncy. I think it would be better if they didn't split it in half, because you would have more substance to that bite. But that's what they chose to do. They split the one shrimp in half. It's a nice, fresh, bouncy shrimp. Whoa. Well, that ends another episode. I'm satisfied for now. I've satiated my Malaysian food craving, but I should be looking for more Malaysian food in the Washington, D.C. area and beyond, and filming more Malaysian videos in the future. But until then, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel if you like the content. I'll catch you next time on my next food adventure. Take care. Bye-bye.